Hello and welcome to the Snap Happy live forum. And now I have another one playing in the background. Okay, here we are. Off to a flying start with technical issues, and the stream has actually moved. So I hope people are tuned in and are seeing now, because we're actually not where we first said we were going to be. Let's bring on our first guest, Darran Leal. Are you there, mate?
He's coming in, mate. Coming in. There I am.
Excellent. Off to a flying start. But look, you know, this is the world of Zoom and technology and streaming. So we're hoping that we can see people online. I just need to find this stream over here so we can, so that we can get your questions. We have another guest, Julieanne Kost from the United States of America.
Yes, I am here.
I promise that
good morning, good evening, hello.
Do the United States of America thing, but hey, anyway. So welcome, guys. First episode went to air. I think most people in Australia have had the chance to watch it. I think Perth is still waiting to see it in an hour or so, I believe, but everyone on the East Coast has seen it. Adelaide and Darwin and the country's slowly catching up. But yeah, great to have you guys with us. What's been happening, guys?
Well, I've just got back from New Zealand with our creative workshop and enjoying our new house, which up in Cairns. We live up in the tropical north of Australia now, Queensland. Julieanne, I think you've been doing a few things as well.
Yeah, we went to the Arctic and went over to Svalbard and Iceland and Greenland, and then of course came back right in time for Adobe Max. So that's a creativity conference that Adobe throws every year for all of our customers, designers, illustrators, type, motion graphics, social media. So I actually had to stay home this year, but that's okay. I actually got to watch more of it staying home than when I'm actually at the event.
Yes. Yeah. And how did that go? There's because that's a huge event, isn't it? In the Adobe world and in creative world, it's a big event.
It is. And I love that, I love that you can go there in person and network and be right there with all the excitement and everything. But, obviously since COVID, the pandemic, we went online. And so now it's both. So it gives a lot of people the opportunity to tune into things that they may not have otherwise been able to. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's fun. It's so much fun. I mean, I missed being around creative professionals. That's why I love going on workshops like the ones that we did.
Yeah, so I think let's jump straight into the world of Australia. Recent adventures with Snap Happy. Tim filmed us. The Kimberley comes to mind. Was that
it was amazing. Yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, the Kimberley for me, I first visited in 1984. I'd been living in Perth for a while. I was doing this big round Australia trip for 3 years. Went through the Kimberley, hardly talked about in that era. Purnululu, the bungles hadn't even been discovered, so to speak. What was your impression of Purnululu?
I had never seen anything like it. And nothing, in the US, there was, plus just the way that you organized it and the group that was there and everything. And the sites that we went and saw, it was so helpful that obviously you knew the area, you've been there, so that you took us to so many great spots.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable.
We always get good groups, don't we? Good, nice people.
Yeah.
Nice people, because they're photographers. Photographers are great most of the time.
Yep. That was a great group, and we had a lot of very different scenery, right? Like, because one day it was completely cloudless, and then we had those beautiful clouds the next day.
Oh, that was a stunning cloud formation I've never seen in my life. That was really spectacular. And at some point, I don't know how, love everyone who's listening to us now to be able to see some of the results, because the cloud patterns, you were sort of taking photos and thinking, I've got to get a photo, but where do I go? And it was just incredible. It was really spectacular.
It was. And I also I do like shooting, in not as contrasty light. And so, a lot of times everyone's looking at this big, huge scene and I'm just looking down at these little rocks. But
Yes.
Just such variation there in the rock formations and the landforms. Pretty incredible.
Yeah. Same for you, Tim. You did like you were behind the scenes doing all the film work and for the show, which is a big job in itself. But you still get a little snippet of time to do your own still photography, which I've watched you over the last 4 years. You've really expanded your interest and love of still photography.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, when I started the show just because I saw photographers around me and there was nothing quite like this on TV. So I thought, oh, there's a good opportunity to make something. I've always been interested in photography, but I really was a hack when it came to photography. And over it's almost 10 years since we created the show. It's I've just really enjoyed that side of it and getting away and just a big part of photography is the opportunity to be in the right place at the right time. And spending the last few years hanging out with Darran has certainly put me in the right place at the right time a lot. So yeah, I've really enjoyed that. Particular highlights, have definitely been the aerials and stuff that we've done. So other than the Kimberley Lake Air, we got above Shark Bay, and just probably 3 of the best places to do aerial photography.
Yeah. And a lot of people listening now can, of course, if they go to our Instagram and Facebook social media connections, can see the imagery and the videos that we did on the spot. There's a heap of stuff there from Snap Happy, from us, and yourself, Julieanne, too. You're quite involved social media wise, are you? Or
yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and just Julieanne Kost. You can probably just find me there. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun to post. I mean, it's fun to share. I love, you took us to a lot of places where obviously, I'd never been, and it's really always fun to see the world with such a different perspective, right? Like not only are you somewhere unique, but then also you're looking out of a small aircraft, whether it's a helicopter or a plane, and it's just a whole different perspective on, the vastness of that area, and the patterns are amazing.
Yeah, and look at the shots on screen now, like they're so surreal, weren't they? That was I've been to that area many times, done some aerial work, but that particular day was a really perfect day for it, wasn't it?
It was just astounding. And I've never seen mud flats like that. It was just, I loved cracked earth and erosion, and just the fact that everything's so transient, and to be able to get that and to share it with people, to me it's really fun, just looking for that image that maybe someone else doesn't see.
For sure. And interesting, that's out of El Cuestro, and interesting that you go 4 hours later and that would look different because the tide was different. So, and sure, as you say, it's very transient. That's a very interesting thing. And I've already organized a trip in 2025. Are you guys interested at all? But I've already organised a couple of Kimberley trips in 2025, and I can't wait to go back. And a facet will be just to concentrate on that aerial. It's so creative, so different each time, and I know what you got is not what I got, and vice versa. So very, very, cool, very interesting.
Got some images here from Lake Air.
Lake Air, yes. Yeah. Same, not the same experience, but that real wow factor, wasn't it, Julieanne? It was a place that you just went, holy camole, where do I point my camera?
Yes. Yeah. There was something everywhere where we went there. It was, I took a lot of photographs there. Because look at that. That's just astounding. What was right there in front of us. Yeah. Yeah.
The pancakes. That's the pancakes. Yeah.
We'd like
so abstract.
I'd like to to interrupt there. If anyone has any questions, feel free to pop them in the just in the chat on YouTube there, and I'll see that, and we can we can answer your questions. But otherwise, we'll just keep chatting about our experiences behind the scenes. If you've got anything specific you want answered, we're very happy to oblige.
It's nice to be able to do a few trips too, isn't it, Julieanne? Like some people go up and do just one flight. We would highly recommend spend a little bit more money, because you've already spent a lot of money to go to this place, and do 2 flights or even 3 flights. You'd agree with that?
Absolutely. And the area was so vast that you didn't see the same thing twice.
No.
And like you said, you're there 3 hours later, it looks absolutely completely different.
So Jim's asking, he firstly says, love the aerial shots. Helicopter, plane, or drone? Can you fill him in?
Ooh. Well, I'll start, and only because I sort of do all 3 a bit more, I think. Look, drones are great, and we just bought a new Mavic drone a month ago, 2 months ago. I love drone work, but there's something different from a plane. We do doors off, so highly recommend that. We can shoot through windows. A lot of people think that, oh, there's a window there, I can't get a photo. All over the world, including flying a big 777 or something like that, I actually shoot a lot with my phone out the window, and sometimes get quite usable images. I remember when we fly from Sydney, I'll be doing it in 10 days' time, Sydney to Santiago in Chile. You quite often take a very low arc and actually go over Antarctica, and at the right time you look out the window and here's Antarctica with all its icebergs and all that. Hey, my phone gets fantastic photographs of that. We do helicopter trips in some locations and fixed wing in others. Where we can, we take the doors off. It costs more, and that's where groups come into it, Julieanne. If you've got a group, usually 2 people to a flight, it helps with costs and that. But you do stuff other places, like in America a lot. You do a similar style, or?
Yeah, absolutely. It just depends on if it depends on how far you need to go, right? As to whether you're going to take a helicopter or a small plane, and how fast you want to be going, or how high or how low. And if you need to stay still, then you're going to be better off in a helicopter. But it really does depend. And this was just so perfect, because I it's, in all honesty, I'm afraid to fly, which is sort of ironic. But some things are just so worth it. I love getting up there and just seeing it from a different point of view. So yeah, I'd put on that seatbelt and hop in that plane or helicopter any day.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's well worth. And look, the big thing is the cost. There's no doubt it's an expensive way to take photographs. But it is worth saving up for. The images you're looking at on screen now are Shark Bay. So we're actually doing a workshop in April next year in this location. It's fixed wing, but having said that, doors off, and you've just got clear view to take your photographs. Importantly, as Julieanne touched on, strap yourself in. Yes, you will be strapped in. But creatively, it's just a magic opportunity to get unique images. And look, it's being seen more and more nowadays. More people are doing this sort of photography. For me, I'm always still looking at, can I get a different angle or different shot? And of course, every time you go up is different. The weather's different. The conditions are different, the tides are different, etc. So you always get new photographs. Is it worth the money, Julieanne? What do you reckon?
For me personally, yes, absolutely. Because I like the drone work is fantastic, but this will get you, if you're in a small airplane, you could get places you couldn't get maybe on land with a drone in the time that you have. And also, I don't want to be having to try to fly the drone.
No.
Like, I want the pilot so that I can just tell them, oh, look over there, look over here,
Yes.
let's go here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
And you, as you touched on too, you're at a higher level too, of course.
Yeah.
So what height were we at for these shots, Darran?
I think it was around, let's generalize it, 1,000 feet to 2,000 feet, something like that.
Which is not something you can do legally with a drone, is it?
No, correct. Yeah.
And it's getting harder and harder actually to legally fly a drone in a lot of these kind of places as well.
Correct, mate. Absolutely. And unfortunately, there's people doing it illegally, which of course starts to give us photographers a bad name as well, because usually they're not photographers, they're, some other social form. and the outcome is, hey, you're a photographer sort of thing. But I think overall, most photographers do the right thing. That's my general experience of the photographic world, and or mean to and want to do the right thing.
Yeah, definitely. So what else have we got in store this season? Julieanne, it's great to have you on board. What have you got? What have you got for us?
It was so much fun. Well, where else did we go? Well, what was
Rainforest.
Yeah. What was the name of the blue?
Lamington blue spiny crayfish.
That was so awesome. So, well, I don't know if you'll show that or not. When I was editing, and all of a sudden I looked down and there's this crayfish right by my foot. That was, yes. I mean, because you had told me like, oh yes, there's these blue and crayfish. I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm thinking they're going to be
another Aussie story.
But they were really cool. So yeah, the rainforest was fantastic, and that was really the first time I'd ever photograph birds really seriously, because I was always one of those people that was like, I can't put my ISO that high. It's going to be a noisy picture.
Yeah, it's as you said, it's a game changer. That denoise feature is ludicrous, isn't it? It's such a beautiful. I don't use it obviously every image. But as soon as I shoot, I'm finding now, as soon as I'm shooting 2000 ISO plus in particular, which I'm doing a lot more of now, it's beautiful.
It just gives you the freedom to do it too, so that all of a sudden, I can get a faster shutter speed, that's helpful for me a lot of times, because you can hold the camera very steady for a long time. I'm not like that, so I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
I think it's half. I love the fact that the post processing, for me, knowing how much you can do in post to make the image look like what you thought it looked like when you captured it, is really exciting. That there's this whole other availability to explore, and not necessarily just like, I don't want to change colors because I'm trying to mislead people or change tonality, but really just to get the feeling back into the image that you had.
Yeah, no, I agree. We got Photoshop and all the other little tricks and that Lightroom offers, but in reality, most photographers would like most of the time to get a good quality file to start with, and then go and have fun afterwards, sort of thing.
Yeah, and make it look like what they felt when they were there. Yeah.
And birds are one of those. As you know, when it's high ISO, you lose detail in the feathers, and the eye becomes a little softer and all that. So, the ability to give that detail back into the feathers is and we were photographing Kia last week in New Zealand, which is a iconic New Zealand bird. And I've, for years trying to get shots with the wings open, because they've got beautiful oranges and even blues under their wings. But when they're closed, they're just this green, scallopy, feathered looking bird that everyone goes, oh yeah, it's just a bird, As soon as I open the wings up, everyone goes, holy camole, sort of thing. And to put the detail into the individual feathers, it's beautiful. It's a great feature that we recommend to everyone, don't we, Julieanne? Denoise, Lightroom, get to know it. Special feature.
So Darran, Jennifer's got a question. When you're photographing birds and wildlife, are you using any filters, or is that just for landscape kind of use?
I personally, and remember this is always personal, don't use filters much at all anymore. I am happy to do it later on in Lightroom. You know, even I used to use a polarizing filter a lot in the early film days. So we're talking 20, plus years ago. I'd regularly for landscapes use a polarizing filter. I don't do that anymore. Lightroom has dehaze, which gives a polarized type result to a standard shot image. So for me, I'm happy to concentrate on shooting without filters predominantly, and later on in the processing stage, then doing and often all it is just a tiny slider, 2 seconds, the job's done. I do have filters. I've got some right here in front of me. So I now use case filters, and they're actually magnetic filters. So I can just drop, instead of screwing and all that, I just plonk it on. It locks onto the front of my lens. I use a polarizer for waterfalls, and that's sort of, predominantly for reflections. Anytime there's a lot of water and I don't want reflections, I'll use a polarizer. It also loses 2 stops of light, so that helps sometimes, or a neutral density. But again, not too often, and really just for landscapes. For birds, no, I don't use a filter at all. So those bird images you just saw there, we're really needing fast shutter speed, and in this case, high ISO, because there wasn't a lot of light. But look at that, they're 10, 12,000 ISO images. They're so stunning nowadays. I've been 40 years, guys, 42 years I've been doing photography. For over 40 years, I've been going to Lamington National Park and trying to get shots of that nature, and it's a struggle. And if you can imagine, in the early days, I was shooting 64 ISO Kodachrome. You couldn't get birds like that. So for you, Julieanne, you discovered birds are easy now, aren't they?
Well, I wouldn't say they're easy. I have tremendous respect for bird photographers, and also probably my favorite bird was twinkles.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So they have some larger birds there that they took out for us that we could see and photograph, and that was, just amazing. Their feathers, their wings, just incredible.
Yeah, it's great places. Like I photograph everything. As you know, I'll photograph the smallest insect to birds, to people, to landscapes. I love the world is my oyster sort of thing. I love it. Anything, I'll photograph it. Birds are a special challenge though. So, for those interested in bird photography, it is about having the right gear, the right techniques, and going to the right locations. And our company World Photo Adventures, that's what we're famous for, is creating opportunity and then helping with the right information. You can't join us for whatever reason, then you need to do your homework yourself. And generally a longer lens, 400 to 600 millimeter focal length, is what you require. But Julieanne, you were using just your 70 to 200 millimeter lens because the birds were closer, and you got some fantastic results from that, didn't you?
I did. I think the focus.
A little bit of cropping.
Yeah, a little bit of cropping, but honestly, the birds were very close.
Yes.
And some of the birds were quite large, so that does make it much easier. You have a fantastic system, focus system on your camera, I believe.
Yes.
As well.
That is I got to say, there's times. So a big change in the photography world is denoise. That's a massive, to me, that's a pivotal moment in photographic history. That feature is amazing. And another one is the new focusing systems on some of the cameras available. And unfortunately, some of them are quite expensive. Most of them try and offer this feature, that is AI tracking. So the focus locks on the subject's eye. It can be a bird, a person, whatever. and you get really good results. Now, my camera, Sony A1, unfortunately, it's like a $8,000-ish camera. It's expensive camera. It does it ridiculously well. And I'm going through scenarios now where I do a sequence of a bird, and this is in Kakadu in August. We've got, and this will come up in a future episode, I photographed a white-bellied sea eagle, and I said to everyone, I said, get ready, guys, it's about to take off. It took off, and as it went down, it went and picked up a barramundi, and I can't do it on screen here, but picked up a decent-sized barramundi, which is an iconic fish in Australia, and took off and flew off with this fish, and all 50 shots were sharp. All 50 shots that I did, or 60, whatever it was. That's the difference. So I highly recommend, if you love birds, you're a bit frustrated, consider, your gear. Is it the right for the job? I'm happy for anyone to email me, and I'll talk through your gear with you. And, I get people all over the world emailing me saying, Darran, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. I can guarantee I can offer them the right gear to do that job. It's equipment, the right tool. And it's like Lightroom, isn't it, Julieanne? Photoshop, Lightroom. I don't use Photoshop near as much anymore. I love Lightroom. It does just about everything I want. It's the right tool, though, to help you be creative.
Yep, I would agree. Although I still use Photoshop a lot because I do more compositing and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. And look, where else did we go? We Lake Eyre, Lamington. You did a seminar in Melbourne as well. Oh, look, there's that shot.
I'm a bit behind the 8 ball, but I found it.
There it is. That's one of the 50 shots. Yeah. Whack. And the seminar in Melbourne, that was pretty cool, wasn't it?
That was fun. I just like getting information out to people that, that might be able to help them, because, I wasn't that technical when I started at Adobe. I just started there a long time ago. So I learned things, bit by bit, and I had access to all of the engineers. And so that was really, really helpful. And, it doesn't come easily to everyone. I'm sure there's a million people that are better at other things than I am,
Yes,
but for me, because that's what I've done for so long, I love doing it. And I have tons of movies that, you guys are more than welcome to. They're all up on jkost.com, and they're all free because I do work for Adobe. And so, there's tons of information there. If you're looking for something about Lightroom Classic or Photoshop, there's lots of info.
And I endorse that 100%. So every event we do, I tell everyone to go to jkost.com. There's so much information there, like right for the beginner, how do I get started in Lightroom? What is this tool? What is that tool? It's so important. And exactly what you said, Julieanne, everyone does everything step by step by step. And those who try and jump in the deep end and get over technical. So I started 40 years ago called KISS Photography, Keep It Simple Shooter, No One's Stupid. That it's so important, to go step by step, and you'll improve and learn creatively. In particular, it'll help your creativity in the end, rather than trying to jump ahead. Do you find a lot of people try and jump too far ahead sometimes, asking you, what does this tool do? I find it when they don't even know how to use the basic panel, for example.
Yeah, and I think we're all guilty of that too, because we kind of want to do the fun stuff. Like we want to get right to the edit, editing our photos, and not necessarily organizing them and all that. But I also, the thing that's so wonderful is you get to that point, and like you are with everyone's on their own journey, right? And so
absolutely,
you do get to that point where all of a sudden you don't have to think about what aperture you need or what ISO. It's just, from experience. And it's the same with software. You're not thinking about like, oh, how do I change that? You're just like already in the mask panel, picking the brush or the linear gradient. And it's so wonderful when you know your tools so well that it just becomes intuitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
And
then you're not struggling with it.
it's
Yeah.
part of that visualization process, isn't it? It's that trying to picture something in your mind before you get carried away with fancy tools and brushes and all that sort of thing.
I think it's really helpful too if you're in a location, because you talk a lot about pre-visualization, and I think it's really interesting sometimes if you actually try to put into words what you're trying to capture.
Yep.
Maybe not when you're photographing a bird, but when you're standing there in front of a landscape, if you
Yep.
kind of stop and think about it for a minute, and then you kind of think, okay, well, wait a minute, what, do I want to do rule of thirds? Are there leading lines? All of
Yeah,
those things.
exactly.
And then start thinking also,
Yeah.
okay, wait, the sky is too dark, but I can take that blue down or up or change that tone. And just, I think we move so fast these days.
Yeah, I agree 100. Eldest son, Pierce, that's a key thing he learned early. He's been teaching for quite a few years now, is, you go somewhere that's really cool and it's like, or not. And, something interests you, talk yourself through why it interests you, what is interesting to you. And as you say, how am I going to go about capturing it or processing it, or the whole combination? Because in the end, everything is too fast today. I try on trips as much as I can to slow things down, but just because of the nature of the location, that doesn't happen sometimes. In 2 weeks' time, we're at Valdez Peninsula, and I haven't been back to this area since 1991. So we've got whales to photograph. We've got over 1 million Magellanic penguins. We've got this, we've got that. I can still visualize from back then quite a few of the opportunities and that. So I think it's going to be quite different when I'm there, though, of course, because being older, I've forgotten a few things and that as well. So yeah, I agree 100%. Look at something, talk yourself through it. What are you there for? Why are you interested in that? And I know I've watched you, obviously. I remember Piccaninny Creek in the Bungles, where you're walking through the creek area, which is all beautiful limestone formations, and you're looking for patterns and shapes and forms and that sort of thing. And that's what it's about, isn't it? It's an important facet is you can just walk past things too easily nowadays.
Yes, I would agree. And that's why I tend to do a lot of research before I go somewhere. And it's interesting sometimes when I say that, because people go, oh, I don't want to see what other people have, oh, so you just go up online and you just want to copy other people's photos. And it's like, no, I want to see what's already been done so that I make sure I do something different. Yes, if I see that stellar landscape, I do want to capture it, of course. But it also can just be the shot that sets the pace and the tone for all the rest of the images in that area. So I love going online and researching it and then going, okay, so I've got that image everyone else took. What else is there that only I'm going to see? It's a little self-challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Yeah, again, I agree 100%. It's interesting. Like last year, I think it was, or year before, we were in Cervantes, and a spectacular place you'd love. We've talked about it. You've got to get there one day. And it's got the limestone pinnacles and sand dunes. And we're at a sand dune, and there's another group of photographers, 4 or 5 of them there. And guess they're a club or a tour group or whatever. They stayed on top of the one sand dune the whole sunrise, didn't move. And I'm just like, guys, you're not going to get a shot standing in one spot for the whole time. Now, obviously, whatever they're after, hopefully they got that. But our group is off, and we're probably annoying them because, oh, you're down in our photo, sort of thing. But sorry, that's what it's about. It's exploring and trying things. And we're getting beautiful snaking dunes and real mix. We ended up finding a bearded dragon about, yay long, out in the middle of nowhere, which is a type of lizard that shouldn't have been there. And it was covered by the sand. So it was really, so it was exploring, getting ripples, getting the whole story. Yes, go for the hero shot, that one that's going to be the book cover or whatever. But hey, don't forget the rest.
So a couple of questions, guys. First of all, Julieanne, any plans to come back to Australia and do some more seminars? And particularly Brisbane has been requested.
I would love to. I would come back in a second with a moment's notice. So we just have to figure out how to make it work.
Yep, fantastic.
We'll work on that, and we might do
Okay.
we might do Lady Elliot Island or something like that. That's one of our go-to locations in Queensland.
Yeah,
There are so many locations in Australia. I mean, it is such a vast area.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't see anyone running out of locations there.
and another question for Darran. When you're at Valdez Peninsula, is that where the orcas come ashore?
Yes, correct. So it won't be the right time of year. So look, an interesting question because we're a professional photo tour operator, we need to take people to the right place, right time, targeting what we're advertising is going to happen. It's a location that it's desert, very dry, very arid, cool animals like armadillos and all sorts of things there. But if at this time of the year that we're going to, there won't be killer whales trying to catch the seals on the beach. From memory, that's about March. You got to go in March. So for us, we go places all over the world. So we've got 4 tours coming up. We've got Valdez. We're doing tropical Argentina and Brazil. We're doing Atacama Desert, which I can't wait to go back to. And it'll be our 20th tour to Patagonia. All of those are for particular timing and reasons. Patagonia, we're going to next, not this trip, one after, in a couple of years' time. It'll be in April instead of this time of the year where we go for the fall colours. And that's a special time. So Julieanne is joining us next year on 2 tours in America. So if you're keen, guys, she's there the whole time. You can talk, have dinner with her, all that sort of stuff. She'll talk back to you even with a smile. and we're actually her backyard. We're exploring her backyard, and I can't wait to do that. So that's December next year. And then the year after, we're looking at a week in Alaska with Julieanne, but we might have to chuck Australia in there somewhere, sometime. Try.
That would be lovely.
And Tim's got to join us too.
Yeah, I'd love to. Well, at this point, I just want to make a couple of quick announcements. One is we have a couple of competitions that are coming up. We haven't run a competition for a couple of years, so I'm excited to do that. So one of them is going to be an Instagram competition. Snap Happy is all about travel and adventure, so the theme is going to be travel. So we want you to tell a story with your image, something that inspires travel. I'll be announcing the details of that soon, but we've just secured some awesome prizes. Sony's giving away an ultimate travel kit. So let me share my screen here. I've got some images here. They're giving away an A7C, which I've never used, but it's 33.
Beautiful compact camera, really great for traveling.
Yeah, it's 33 megapixels, full frame sensor. Grab your videos as well, 4K, 50p. It's an awesome camera, and also they're bundling that with a 70 to 350. So yeah, quite a versatile lens in terms of capturing stuff up close. And yeah, I think this prize is valued over $5,000. So and free to enter. Always our competitions are free to enter, so we'll be.
Can I enter? Can I enter?
I think you're ineligible, Darran. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
And there's another competition coming up. Darran,
yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, look, I don't know if you've gone to our website over the last couple of days. It's not working, and that's because we're migrating a new website, which we're quite excited about. It's got new information, new videos, new tips, and we're offering a prize. So this will be from Monday when the new website will be up and running. We're offering a prize 1-on-2. So that's yourself with Fraser, my son, and myself up here in Cairns where we live. We're going to fly you up to Cairns, give you 3 days personal photo tuition, all accommodation, meals, flights. I won't tell you the price. It's a lot of money. Okay. But that's going to start Monday.
Can I enter that one, Darran?
No.
Can I enter it?
No, sorry.
Yeah, fantastic. And also one of the other prizes, I had a little prop here where Darran's giving away some of his straight shooter books. So tell us a bit about this, Darran. What's this book all about?
Well, that book, look, I love that book. It is 10 years of my work with Australian photography. So Australian Photography magazine, if you're not subscribed, you should. It's a great magazine. Again, it's got lots of information in it. It's not much to subscribe to, and lots of different photographers. Yes, my work's in there, but there's a heap of other people's work too. And Mike, the editor, he actually joined us last week in New Zealand on our Creative Week. He's joining us next year. Creative Week is up here in Cairns next week, if you're interested, about June, I think it is. And that book is, I've done over 100 articles called Straight Shooter. And it was to celebrate that 100 articles of work with him. It's over 100 now. Yeah, so highly recommended. It's $150 normally, but a couple of people will get one for Zippo, nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
a nice book. I can vouch for that. I love it. I have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this
I don't
stage,
think Tim does though.
well, that's what I got in my hand, mate.
Yeah.
I bought one of the first copies, and
Oh, you did too. He actually paid. He will not let me.
signed and everything. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, he actually buys from me. Thank you, mate. Yeah, donating to the Darran Leal, whatever.
And the thing I love about Darran's book most is the first image that appears in the book is actually one that I took. So
yeah, of James, the publisher.
yes. Yeah. I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. I don't know if you know, but Snap Happy is completely funded by our sponsors and by not just our sponsors, but people like Darran and Julieanne who actually give up their time. They're not paid to be on the show. And this year, Sony has been a big contributor to what we're doing. Lots of great, I mean, Sony's a fantastic company and their products are just unbelievable. So, you'll see a fair bit of Sony's products throughout the show. Also, Subaru provide us vehicles for our trips. And I think we did, I don't know how many thousands of kilometers on the road.
34th, on the road. Well, you worked out 34,000 Ks, wasn't it?
We did 34,000 Ks in total. That includes flying. But yeah, I think on the road, we probably did about 8,000 Ks on the road. So
8 to 10, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So so Subaru's been fantastic. You'll see Subaru popping up in the show, and it's for us to be able to align with companies like that is really special for us. Camera Electronic, who is a retailer in Perth, they've got a couple of stores over there. They've been great supporters of the show too. So later in the series, we actually go on a little adventure with Saul and Howard from the owners of the store. We had a cool little road trip with them, and
we saved a whale, mate.
Yeah, we saved a whale.
Humpback whale. Saved its life.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, it was caught in some fishing ropes, and Howard got on the phone to the marine rescue. So that was, you never know what you're going to see out in the field, and that was testament to that. But we also got down into caves and did some low light photography and camped on the beach and photographed.
And got lots of rain
overnight.
Camping.
So it was a true adventure. And also World Photo Adventures is also a huge supporter. So not only does Darran not get paid to be on the show. He actually provides a lot to get us out on the road and at those locations at the right times. And that's part of the reason we can capture these amazing images, because Darran threw his hat in the ring, and he's been a fantastic part of Snap Happy. So I hope you appreciate these fantastic people that are supporting the show, and it means that we can make the show and make it available for free on broadcast. You can catch up on 10 Play if you don't see the broadcast, and then later we roll things out onto YouTube. So eventually, you'll be able to get all these episodes on YouTube, but not for a couple of years. So we're still rolling out older episodes. So make sure that you, if you haven't already, hit like and subscribe and all that stuff that you're meant to do. It helps our channel. It helps other people get to see the videos as well. It helps the algorithms and all that kind of stuff. So please, if you haven't already, hit subscribe. And there's hours and hours and hours of content. I think we've
200 videos up now, mate.
I think there's 200 videos.
I only know because I looked yesterday and accidentally saw on 200 videos. I thought, holy camoli, that's a lot of.
So if you like,
a lot of photographers and content, and not just Julieanne, not just me. There's heaps of stuff in there. It's really cool.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, whatever floats your boat in terms of photography, there's something there for everyone. One thing we haven't done a lot of is sports photography, but we just did our final shoot this week with an amazing photographer called Deli Carr. And we were photographing Seabom Lee, who's an Olympic dolphin team. He competed in the Tokyo Games, and he's in training to take the world by storm with his medley swimming and stuff. So that's something a bit different that we haven't done in the past. I mean, you can always expect to see a lot of beautiful landscapes and wildlife, and I'm a self-proclaimed bird nerd, so I love bird photography. And so
I've seen you do some tango dancing too, mate.
I've dabbled it with some tango dancing, but I think I prefer the other bird varieties. But so you'll see a lot of that. But we've got some great guests this season. Andrew Clark next week. We'll give you a little preview of next week's episode as we finish up. But Andrew Clark, Robin Moon, who's a great nature landscape, nature, wildlife photographer. Daniel Lynette, we did some studio work with him, photographing Monica Trapaga, who if you're of that generation, you might remember her from Play School, but now she's a jazz singer. So another great segment with a lot of tips on how to use lighting, and not spending a fortune, but getting the results that a professional can get. So I think we're jam-packed with a lot of good content and information to really help elevate your photography. So I hope you keep watching the series. There's 8 this series. It's the first time we've done more than 6 episodes. So you've got 8 weeks of our mugs on the telly. So
well done, mate. That's a lot of cost to that, as you know. Others might not realize, but there's a huge, just to get on the channel. It's not cheap, and time. Huge amount of time. I know Julieanne can't offer this because she, email wise, she gets too many emails already. So don't contact Julieanne for this, but because you'll get a very polite automated reply, which is understandable. But for myself, I open up. Anyone in the world can email me, ask questions. I'm happy to help you with your photography. In particular, you're looking at buying camera gear and that. I hate seeing people with the wrong camera gear, frustrated, wasting money, that sort of thing. Please email me, say, hi, Darran, you offered this. Happy to help. I have for 40 plus years. So please feel free to do that. As part of Snap Happy too. So, we're a family now. Julieanne's a new member of the family. And, for us, as Tim has touched on, it's all about creating information, feedback, and hopefully someday we'll meet you in the field or something like that. But if not that, we're here to help. And I know who is it? Tim. I know Tim. Also happy to get an email and answer a question or something like that too. So
honestly, I love getting feedback, and I love when people ask questions and that kind of thing. It's when you're doing television, sometimes it feels like a one-way street, but we're very happy to hear from you for sure.
Yeah, because it's good to see your face on screen, mate.
Well, yeah, okay. We won't go into that. Maddie, who has obviously been our host for the last previous 6 seasons, she's been very busy this year. She's producing a few programs of her own. She's doing a bit less on screen, and so you can actually watch her series. I believe it started. Great Aussie Detours. So there's a plug for you, Maddie. So she wasn't able to join us this season, so that's unfortunately why you're seeing my funny looking face on TV. But I think Maddie's a bit more attractive than me, so I apologize in advance for the next 8 weeks of looking at me, but it's been fun.
Been off scene and behind the scenes, all that's been great. Been really good, and
it was incredibly fun.
Yeah, traveling with yourself was a lot of fun, and Mushy, we miss Mushy as well, which is he the worst side of you or the normally?
No, he's the better side of me.
He's the better, is he?
Yeah. It was so great because you just learn so much when you're with other photographers, and I just learned a ton on this.
Yeah, I find that, and that's part of what keeps me going. I as you get a little tired and a little rusty at times, but as soon as you get with a group of photographers, there's new enthusiasm, new blood. It's part of what I love traveling with my 2 boys, Pierce and Fraser. Fraser's 28, Pierce just turned 30. They're always saying, Dad, do you really think that's a good cover? And I'm like, I'm excited because I think the cover's great, but they'll question it. And I go, okay, maybe it's not, I'll do a different image, or the text, the font's wrong, and getting together, that's what it's, and whether you're with a camera club, whatever photo group, and in this case, it's the Snap Happy, family group. It's just a great thing that everyone can talk, get on, and I find like Tim and I we've never had one upmanship against each other or anything like that. It's just let's work as a team, talk as a team. On tour we're the same, yes, there's a tour leader, but after that, photograph something cool and you come back and you go, wow, wasn't that an amazing experience? And then you go around and look at everyone's photos, and everyone's got a different photo.
Yeah. It is quite incredible how you might be away with 5 to 20 photographers, and we're all photographing the same thing, but we all come up with different images. It's quite cool.
No, again, that's
what's great. I mean, you get to look at through the world through 20 other people's eyes, especially because you all were at the same location, so what you saw and they see completely differently. No, the amount of times I hear someone say, where was that? I didn't see that, and they're like,
One more quick question. If anyone has any last minute questions, please chuck them in the chat. But we got a question there from Jennifer, who's asking, Darran, are you going back to Tassie? She explored Tasmania, Maria Island in 2019. So are you heading back, mate?
Yes, so not to the island, unfortunately, but next year we're doing Cradle Mountain again. And I say again, Tim, you've done it. You'll see it on this season of It's on this season, yeah. So we're going back to Cradle Mountain. I can't remember, it's earlier in the year. I've been there many times. Every time I go there, we get different photographs every time. There's wombats, which are amazing animal. The wallabies there are stunning. Last time we got the most unique experience with a platypus that, I'll never, ever beat it. Platypus up at my feet, walking all around our feet. It was just, we're like, everyone's got 600 mil lenses on, and this platypus is at our feet, which that doesn't happen. And and I got a little bit of underwater footage even with just my phone. I just, it was ludicrous. So yeah, beautiful place. Of course, Cradle Mountain itself is specky. Nothing like getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you're there waiting in that twilight and beautiful tones and colors, and a couple of clouds come over it's a mountain, and it's in our part of the world. It's not a big mountain or anything like that, Julieanne, but it's a really special Australian bush with a mountain location, sort of thing. And
I saw the wombat.
Oh, did you?
I did. It was amazing. That's an incredible location.
When did you go?
A few years ago, like probably 5 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'd go back in a heartbeat.
Yes. Yeah. So short answer, yes. Next year.
Awesome, guys. Well, I think it might be time to wrap it up. We apologize. Hopefully people didn't miss this, because for some reason, when we went live, it started a new page. So hopefully people got the memo and followed us across. We'd like to try and do this again at some stage, maybe at the end of the season. We might do a wrap up. We might announce the competition winners and that kind of thing. So we'd love you to join us again. Any final comments from you guys?
Julieanne, what do you...
I just want to say thank you for all the hard work that you're doing behind the scenes, and for inviting me to be a part of this. I had such a fantastic time, and it was so great to get to know everybody. And I think that's really what, photography gives you, that permission to pick up your camera and go outside and meet new people and talk about life. So thank you very much for including me.
Yeah, total pleasure. It was so much fun, and look forward to being on the road again with you, Julieanne, and Mushy, with God willing.
Yeah.
Miss you, Mushy.
Yeah. I'm same thing, Julieanne. Working with yourself, working with Tim, working with Fraser's in the show a little bit too. Pierce has been in the show, and then just everyone we meet as we go. Like William Creek. Remember the hotel? What a great part of Australia to explore. The Painted Hills, the Bungles. And then on with Tim, we did that road trip where we're doing Shark Bay and all sorts of play. The season offers a lot of stuff. I hope people enjoy it for as you said, Tim. It's free to watch. That's pretty special in itself. And anyone keen to join me in future, come and join me in the field. We love to help, in particular, new photographers. But if you're advanced, we'll talk to you too. As long as you talk to me, we'll do it. But no, it's all about having fun, guys. And you go out, take photos. Nothing like sitting at dinner, is there, and having a drink of whatever you like and talking photography and the day's adventures.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week, as they say. On 10 Bold at 9 a.m. next Saturday. We're going to leave you with a preview of the show for next week. So we will say farewell. Thanks for joining us. We'll disappear now, and we'll give you a little wrap up of what's happening next week. Thanks again. We've got a great episode for you this week. Here's what's coming up on Snap Happy. Darran Leal is in Shark Bay to explore the photographic opportunities from the air, land, and sea. We get up close and personal to some of the local wildlife and discover a rich history. We meet up with Perth nature photographer Andrew Clark for an early morning landscape shoot. And Julieanne Kost brings us some more great Lightroom tips from Pernalulu in the Kimberley. All this and much more on this week's episode of Snap Happy, the Photography Show.